Baelor sniffed the air of the manor as he followed Nathan towards the dining room table.
Ah, heavens guard us! What is that putrid odor?
Nathan smiled.
Oh, a rat infestation. Never mind it. It's being taken care of.
At the table, Amelia smiled when Baelor and Nathan joined her for breakfast.
Don't worry. You get used to it. Nice to see you again, Baylor. Come on in and sit down. You haven't eaten yet, right? I made eggs, and there's toast with jam. You're also just in luck. The last bit of sausage is yours for the taking. Thank you, Lady Hayfield. Well, if you insist, I guess I'll dig in.
Baelor licked his lips and piled up his plate, cutting a sizable dent into the buffet on the table as he sat beside Nathan. Despite his initial timidness, he had known the Hayfield family his entire life, and Amelia knew the fastest way to get him to relax was through food.
Baylor, relax, please. Just call me Amelia. As you wish, Lady Hayfield. Amelia.
Amelia laughed and enjoyed her younger brother's friend's silly mannerisms as he quickly made himself a sausage sandwich full of eggs, jam, and a few other things that Nathan thought should never go together. The Hayfields would forever support Baelor because they all knew that he had stood up for Nathan at the academy. Baelor had even left the academy with Nathan, which wasn't something just anyone would do, and so even Ulrich respected him for that. Nathan found Baelor's eating habits both disgusting and inspiring at the same time. He tried his best not to show his fascination as he prodded his friend to explain his visit. Good sandwich there, Baelor? Baelor nodded as he munched on a face full of food. Mm-hmm. So, what's really going on with you? Why the sullen mood outside? Finally, Baelor swallowed and sighed. Let me tell you, the moment my old man heard that I left the academy, he started giving me grief. I know he saved up a lot to send me there, but still, I had to do the right thing. He gets why I left, but unlike you, that whole affair didn't make me famous. Anytime I am mentioned in the story, I'm just an afterthought, the butt of a joke. Now the Graham name is a laughingstock, and Father's trade partners made fun of him. So yesterday, he got so mad he forced me to sit by the family crypt all night long and apologize to my ancestors. Baelor drowned out his woes by stuffing his face with his sandwich as Nathan pondered his friend's words. So why come to me? Baelor stopped stress eating and set down his food. He abruptly knelt before his friend, surprising both Amelia and Nathan in the process. Nathan, you're the strongest kid I know. If anyone can teach me how to fend for myself, it's you. I hate to do this, but I'll beg you if I have to. Please train me so I can grow tough like you. My heart is set on the way of the warrior, so I'll do whatever it takes to regain my family's honor. Nathan's mind fought with itself on this issue. On the one hand, I don't want to implicate Baelor any further. If the Clays find out, they'll punish him for it. On the other hand, Baelor wouldn't be able to fend for himself if they did come for him. And Baelor's more than brave enough to be a warrior. He was loyal to me even when it meant risking his own life. He even left the academy with me to prove a point, knowing that it complicated his dreams of becoming a warrior. Very well, then. I'll train you. However, your body is not yet ready to handle the workload I'm doing, and I don't have a moment to lose when it comes to my own plan. So, I'll give you a training regimen to follow on your own. Fantastic! Thank you, Nathan. You're a boon companion if there ever was one. Nathan roughly interrupted his friend. He had trained soldiers during times of peace in his past life, so he knew exactly how to break through a fresh student's enthusiasm. Not so fast. Listen to me. When I write down my instructions, you must follow them exactly. Otherwise, you'll risk injury. Of course, I'll do exactly as you say. And most importantly, you must do so without disturbing me for the next 2 years.
Come eat and rest with me if you like from time to time. But when it comes to training, I don't want to see you until you've completed all the work I've given you, which should take you up until around the time of the spiritual fighting examinations. In the meantime, I'll protect you from any threats you might encounter."
Baelor looked a little crestfallen as he set down Amelia's delicious breakfast. He had hoped to train with Nathan, but slowly he nodded his head and understood Nathan's words.
"The path of the warrior is a lonely one, Baelor. It's not to be traveled lightly, but if you do as I say, you will certainly regain your family's honor and then some. Are you up to the task?" "Yes, I am ready. I promise you, I won't be lazy. I'll follow your instructions every day."
Nathan smiled and started to stand when Amelia came around his shoulder and handed him a quill, ink, and a bit of paper. She had, of course, been listening.
"Here, use this." "Thank you, sister."
Nathan immediately scrawled out a detailed training plan on the piece of paper and rolled it up before handing it to Baelor.
"Incredible. How did you do that so fast? Do you have training exercises committed to memory?" "Hundreds of them. Yes, and through blood, sweat, and tears, you will commit them to your mind as well."
Baylor's face paled as he unrolled the paper and looked at the plan for his first day.
This is crazy. All this on the first day? Is this even possible?"
Nathan rolled his eyes and chuckled.
"If it's not, then you might as well give up on it now. You won't be ready for me in 2 years when I need you." Crinkly.
Baylor's fist tensed around the paper as he gritted his teeth.
Wait, don't say that. I'll do it. I can definitely handle all this, no problem."
Amelia couldn't help but laugh at Baylor's wild mood swings. In actuality, Nathan had given Baelor a very simple training regimen. Compared to what Nathan was doing, it was a walk in the park. Baelor had to hike the 8 miles up and down Mount Dunn every morning without any weights, and then do some physical training and fundamental sword motions in the afternoon. That was it. Baelor was only a beginner-level 2 warrior after all, so it was no surprise that the workload intimidated him. In order to complete it, he'd have to push his body and his mind to their absolute limits. Drastically improving his physical fitness was the only way Nathan could help him at this stage. The power of Asura wasn't something he could just teach to his friend, and besides, even if he tried to share it with him, Baelor was far from being ready to handle it. The same was true with the dexterity elixir, which is why he hid the true nature of the smell from Baelor and Amelia. If Nathan had given them a sip, chances were their bodies would have shut down.
"Then you best begin your training. I'll see you soon, my friend, and with all luck, you'll have doubled in strength by then. I swear to you, Nathan, I won't let you down."
With that, Baelor excitedly jumped up from his seat and headed for the door. He paused only long enough to grab the last bit of sausage from the table before charging toward his house across the stream. Over the next 2 months, Nathan regularly returned to the medicinal herb garden and nearby store. He gathered the materials he needed to refine the elixir, and as his training advanced, he reached beginner level 8. Thus, he required larger portions of the drink. The first time, he had used only a small portion of the herbs just to see if the effect would be the same as in the other world. Once he had confirmed that it was even more potent here, he began to request 100 medicinal herbs each day, 50 for his own elixir, and the other 50 for his father, Ulrich. Although Ulrich was well over 50 years old, the potions still had a tremendous effect on his body, and he soon saw improvements in his spiritual fighting that he hadn't seen in years. Over time, it became clear to all but his father that it was too dangerous for the guards to spar with Nathan, so he began to practice his sword-fighting skills in secret against large oaks in the forest near the base of Mount Dunn. Although he liked the people of Dunshire, he was concerned that word of his improvement might spread to his enemies, so he was always careful to avoid the prying eyes of the townsfolk, particularly Hilda Moonweaver. Each morning, He made it a priority to encourage old Billy to practice his flute, so that he could be certain she'd stay far from the manor as he left to train. He soon added 1,000 crunches and 500 push-ups to his daily routine. It wasn't long before he reached beginner level 9. As the elixir worked its way through Nathan's body, he soon realized that this form of training was also problematic, as he began breaking wooden practice swords and harming oak trees at an alarming rate. In a given day, he'd fallen at least 5 large oak trees and broken well over 24 wooden practice swords as he stabbed, sliced, and blocked the limbs of the oak trees until his calloused fingers ran wet from his own blood. Crack! Crack! Boom! After 2 months of training, Nathan finally broke his last training sword as he sliced a tree clean in half. He sighed and wiped the sweat from his brow.
Better call the carpenter again. At least with all these trees I've felled, he's got plenty of wood to work with.
Earlier that morning, as Nathan had carried 700 pounds of stones up to the top of Mount Dunn, he had stopped to pray to the heavens while the sun rose, and knew he had crossed over to the first level of the apprentice stage. His spiritual fighting levels were experiencing a meteoric rise. Nathan thanked the heavens that his soul had remembered how to concoct such a powerful, supportive potion, as he knew that had more than a little to do with his progress. He picked up the broken training sword and headed back toward the manor.
Finally, the first level of the apprentice stage. House Clay and House Raven won't know what hit them.
As Nathan arrived back at the manor, he hid behind a corner and listened in as he found his father in the midst of a conversation with fidgety old Toren Lillyford, who seemed particularly disturbed today. Toren had grown weary of Nathan's constant need for hundreds of medicinal herbs from the garden for the past 2 months, and was concerned that it was eating away at a significant chunk of the Hayfield family's medicinal store profits. Toren, who had worked for Ulrich for years, tried to suppress his fury.
I understand young Master Nathan needs these herbs for some little project of his, but does he really need so many of them? Our stockpiles are being depleted, and profits this month are down, worse than last month. I just don't see how we can go on like this.
Ulrich chuckled and calmed the man.
Toren, please sit down. Have a flagon of wine. Don't you trust my judgment on this?
Toren reluctantly sat as his lord bid him, but he did not sip the wine he was offered.
It's not a matter of trust in your lordship. It's a matter of numbers. When I think of your late father, I can't imagine he would approve of.
But that's just it, Toren. I am not my father, and the losses to my personal account on the ledger, Nathan's project, as you say, is perhaps the most valuable potion I've ever used. At Ulrich's words, Toren sighed and reluctantly nodded his head.
As you say, your lordship, it will be as you command.
Toren knew that even if he disagreed, there was no point in going against Ulrich. After all, the Hayfields had been a steadfast family all his life. Ulrich smiled and encouraged Toren to drink the wine. As the fidgety man drank, Ulrich thought how silly Toren would feel if he understood how truly powerful Nathan's dexterity elixir was. Over the past 2 months, Ulrich had broken through in his spiritual fighting skills to become a level 7 apprentice. If he could continue to make progress, he was certain he could eventually reach the first level of the master stage, and thus rival Lord Byram Clay's spiritual fighting strength.
Ah, Nathan, glad to see you back.
Toren turned to smile at Nathan as he made his presence known.
Good young master, it's a pleasure to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Toren.
And one quick thing. I believe I shall require 150 herbs each day from here on out, if that isn't too much trouble. No, not at all, Master Hayfield. I shall go prepare them at once. I bid you both a pleasant evening.
Nathan and Ulrich couldn't help but share amused looks as the old man struggled to stay composed as he left. Ulrich smiled as his son sat down beside him. He had a good feeling in his heart that in less than 2 years, Nathan would crush the spiritual fighting examination that all warrior students of Godric's land were required to participate in. Nathan's progress is anything like mine, he'll put on a great show. But Ulrich had no idea just how jaw-dropping his son's performance was about to be.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.